People, 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 que pasa, sac passe. Now this is another edition of Freestyle Meds, where there is always a message. There is always some information for people to get. So anyway, we see that our Prime Minister I am speaking about, Andrew Holness, is on a mission in China. He said that he is looking for investment in Jamaica. Now people, the truth and the fact is that when we see what is going on, most of the times, most of the deals that are being signed is to the detriment of Jamaican and the people in Jamaica. We are talking about the citizens them. Because the truth and the fact is that as a nation, as a poor nation, to come out of its current financial situation, they need to be striking deals where it is to the good of the country. We are talking about Jamaica and people. If we follow the plans of nations or countries or islands like the Bahamas, we would be in a much better financial state. Because the truth and the fact is that in Bahamas, everybody that comes in and invests, a Bahamian or the government of Bahamas has to be a 50% owner, stakeholder. So people, we are talking about a plan that makes a lot of financial sense. We are speaking about a plan that is commercially viable or economically viable for that country. However, in the case of Jamaica, what we find is that these ministers, we are speaking about these government ministers, these politicians, Rete and Lele, they are making plans or deals that are not in the best interest of the country. These deals are in the best interest of those persons, those individuals. We are talking about the politician them, because at the end of the day, they are getting the kickbacks. At the end of the day, they are on a very wealthy retirement plan. We are talking about them can get a bag of money and retire overseas in some first world country, Rete and Lele, and live a life of luxury. Now the truth and the fact is that when you as a nation that is broke go in on a negotiating table, you don't really have much talk because of the fact that you are broke. You are going in this deal with two long hands. You don't have nothing, you don't have power. And like them say people, money is power and power is money. Point blank and period. However, in Jamaica case, we see that they are broke. So when we ask the question, why is Jamaica in bed with China? Why is Jamaica embracing and endorsing China like this? And the truth and the fact is that Jamaica is on the last phase of its IMF loan. Now people, when we talk about the IMF, a lot of persons were saying Jamaica is getting a bad deal and Rete and Lele from the IMF. And people, maybe in some case we can say, yeah, that is factual. But the truth and the fact is that Jamaica has improved drastically since doing a deal with the IMF. So therefore they danced with the devil and they did not get FUCK big time. They did not get screwed without any Vaseline. Because the truth and the fact is that before going into the IMF deal, Jamaica had a 147% debt to GDP ratio. That means for every 147% that they spent, they got back 100%. So therefore the point that I am trying to make is that they were at a 47% deficit. So if we do the math, when we talk about 147%, 100% make it flat off, and then 47% was at the deficit. So people, when they are leaving the loan now, when they are leaving the IMF, they are currently at 93% debt to GDP. So therefore they are in the positive 7%. So therefore for every $100 that they get, they spend back $93. So people, when we do the math, it is simple math. It is not calculus. It is not trigonometry. So therefore, when we look upon it, they improve by over 53 or 54%. So people, that was good. However, as it pertains to China, what are we getting? Are we getting exploited? Is China taking advantage of Jamaica and people? The truth and the fact, based on the history or based on what we've seen so far, yes, they are. Point blank and period. So that is why we see Jamaica being desperate and going into all sorts of bad deal. We are talking about with Goat Island, we are talking about with the cockpit country, and we are also speaking about with Naranda backside. Now people, if you look at everything that is going on in Jamaica as it pertains to the land, and people, we have to remember that once we sell these lands, it is gone forever. You cannot get it back. It is a deal that is for infinity. That means that Jamaica can never get it back unless them buy it back at some astronomical rate, point blank and period. So now when we look at all these oceanfront property, we see that Jamaica is selling it out to the Spanish and the Mexicans and Rete and Lele. And when we talk about these prime real estate land, we see that China is making all sorts of deal in a Jamaica based upon the deal with all the highways that they are building. They are getting a lot of prime real estate in return because Jamaica can pay back for all those services and all those money that China spend. So the point that I am trying to make is that these foreign entities, these foreign countries, these foreign business, they are owning most of Jamaica because of deals that Jamaica made because they were desperate. So therefore they are selling out Jamaica point blank and period. And especially in the case of China, we see that China is now the proud owner of a lot of prime real estate in Jamaica, courtesy of them being the banker, and people like them say it is shooks. Big bank takes little bank. Now when we look at the difference between the IMF and China, we see that at least with the IMF they came with an economic plan. We saw that there was growth at least 50-something%. We are talking about 50% positive growth. With China, what can we expect? Other than to expect China to take over Jamaica like they've done before, and people, history shows it, their resume show it, that they just go in and they take over other countries. So people, Jamaica is also going to be a next victim, point blank and period. So people, the moral of the story is this. We see that Jamaica is still in bed with China. They are comforting them. They are caressing them. They are endorsing every move, and they are taking all the loan at the detriment of Jamaica for the interest of those persons. We are speaking about the Prime Minister, and we are speaking about his financial advisors. So we have to ask the question, who is the economist that is sitting at the table with the Prime Minister? Is it Gollibop? Who is the person? Who is the financial advisor? Is it Tanto Blacks? People, it seems like Jamaica is stupid. It seems like Jamaica is not getting proper representation at these negotiating table, point blank and period. Now people, when we think about all the deals that Jamaica has been doing that basically went flat or went bad, we are talking about the cockpit country. We are speaking about a deal that they was doing with the backside company Naranda. We are speaking about Goat Island, a deal that Jamaica was supposed to do with China to build some sort of port, some sort of air and seaport that went flat because of environmentalists and Jamaicans complaining on a whole. People, we see that Jamaica has been making some bad deals lately, and it is to the detriment of Jamaica. And when we also think about Venezuela and we think about the Prime Minister or the President, we are speaking about Mr. Maduro, and we are speaking about Petrojam. People, we are speaking about bad deals in which Jamaica has lost billions. I am speaking about in excess of $5 billion in just 5 years. So people, we see that Jamaica is not properly represented by the people, by the economists, by the Prime Minister or by the politicians, point blank and period. And when we also think about the fact that we just saw some prominent politicians losing their US visa, I am talking about Paul Well, and I am also talking about Darrell Vaz. And according to information, credible information that is out there, it is said that at least 5 more are scheduled to also lose their visa. And just to quote from a saying in the Bible, my God is a very jealous God. And based on the fact that we see Jamaica doing some deals with some persons, some nations, some characters that are not allies or friends with the United States, we have to wonder, why did these people lose their visa? Is America getting jealous? Is Mr. Trump getting jealous? People, make me know what you think in the comment section. And like me say, it is just my views and opinion. It is not the gospel. Your views and opinion can be respectfully different from mine. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Bless up.